Okay, here we go. I'm starting out this table build by mapping out where I'm going to put everything. I placed my shop vac, dust separators, sanders, and a couple Harbor Freight boxes on top of a 3/4 inch sheet of plywood, which I had the hardware store cut to 57 inches by 22 inches. I'm now cutting the frame pieces for the bottom of the table. Next, I used pocket holes to put the frame together. I set my jig for 1.5 inches and adjusted the collar on the drill bit. By the way, I'm using 2x3 lumber for the frame. Here, I was able to do a little outsourcing. Thanks for the help, bud. Here, I'm using 2.5-inch cabinet screws to attach the frame. I usually use Craig pocket screws, but I like these better for a couple reasons. They are a bit cheaper, and they have star heads, which for me slip a little less than the square heads. After building the frame, we put the plywood on top and plotted out where the screws were going to go. Then we pre-drilled holes and screwed it all together. I then proceeded to take it all back apart, add glue, and put it all back together again. Now it's time to start on the tabletop, the frame of the tabletop. The top plywood is going to be attached to the frame with pocket holes, and here I am trying to figure out where to drill those holes. I got a bit confused here where my holes were supposed to go when I started drilling, so I really recommend marking everything very well here. Here I'm cutting down a 1x6 to 4 inches wide to use as part of the frame for the downdraft section of the table. Here's why I need this Outfeed table. Alright, what I'm going to do now is cut this board at a taper right in half, and this is going to be used underneath the table for the downdraft part of the table. So I have this taper jig, aka jointer jig. I already got it lined up, and how I did that was I took my board right up to the very tip there, and then got it to the edge on this side. Then I'm going to slide it down so I don't cut off my jig here and lock it into place. And then give it a go. The next thing I did was cut the cross section of the downdraft frame. I put a beveled edge on this board to match the angle of the tapered section. Then I cut a piece of 1/4 inch fiberboard for the bottom and marked out a hole for the vacuum port. I was going to buy a hole saw for this cut, but thought it didn't need to be perfect, so I just decided to use a jigsaw for this hole. I then attached the frame to the tabletop, remembering to use glue this time. Here I am yet again drilling pocket holes for the downdraft frame. I'm starting to think I may need a pocket hole intervention. Next, I glued and screwed together the rest of the frame. Now I am plotting out where to drill holes for the downdraft section. I decided to use a Forstner 3/4 inch bit, and I chose the 3/4 inch holes because I can then use the holes for bench cookies and dog clamps to secure boards while I sand. Next, I decided to pop in a chamfer bit into the router to quickly take out the harsh edges of all those holes. Okay, next I attached the bottom using this roof sealer I had laying around and brad nails. So my table saw is just under 37 inches tall, and I want this outfeed table to be a bit shorter. I decided 36 and a half inches tall would be good. And to get my leg measurements, I lined up the top, the bottom, and the wheel, which together measured 9.5 inches. So my legs need to be 36.5 inches minus 9.5 inches, which is 27 inches. A small child wandered into my garage, and for a couple of Tootsie Rolls, she drilled the pocket holes in all of my legs. Here I am gluing and clamping a leg. Notice the spilled paint on the left top of the screen. How that happened, I am not sure, but I managed to ruin my workshop slippers and my jeans, and then spent the next half hour cleaning it up because I tracked it all over the garage. After installing all of the 2x4 leg pieces, it was sturdy enough to stand it upright, and then I proceeded to install all the 2x3 leg pieces. And next I attached all 4 of the locking wheels. Alright, so I hooked up my vacuum cleaner and I got a dust topper. I think it's actually a generic dust topper that seems to be working pretty good. I tried it out already. Works great. And I made some cuts for a shelf I'm going to put right here to hold my sanders. And I realized I have some 2x2s that are rounded already, and the ones I just picked up the other day, 2x2, it's squared off. So I thought, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna test out the downdraft table and see how it works. All right, so I just sanded and rounded these 2x2s. I did one and it seemed to be working fine, but I wasn't really sure how much it was doing. But I was starting to think while I'm doing it that, hey, I'm not wearing a mask right now and I can breathe fine. And then I thought, well, I'll compare it. I turned off the vacuum cleaner and then I did 2 of the sides here, and then I started to feel it. I started to breathe it and I was like, nope, I'm turning it back on. So it definitely does help keep, especially I think the fine dust particles down. So my wife said this table needs more pocket holes. So I'm using pocket holes to attach the shelf 2x2s. Drilling these holes makes a big mess, so I decided to use the downdraft table. My drill is plugged into an automatic switch which automatically senses the current and turns on the shop vac. This is awesome. This is the view from the bottom of the shelf. Before I attached the last 2x2 shelf support, I went ahead and attached the shelf to 3 sides of the frame. And then I glued, clamped, and attached the last shelf support. Lastly, I sanded it down a little bit just to get rid of those rough edges and added a layer of paste wax.